This time it's personal. Let's do it. Jaws the Revenge is all about Ellen Brody. She's still living on Amity Island. Sadly, her husband Martin has passed away. Her youngest son Sean does live there with his fiance, and he's followed in his father's footsteps. He's now a police officer. One night, Sean gets a call that there is a log stuck in a buoy and is asked to go remove it. It's Christmas time, there's carolers singing, everybody on shore is happy, until a great white shows up and rips Sean's arm off. He screams for help, but nobody can hear, and the shark eventually drags the boat underwater and kills him. A little while later, we find out that log was actually a piece of the sunken orca from the first movie. So Ellen is obviously devastated, and her oldest son Michael, along with his wife Carla and their daughter Thea, come to Amity for Sean's funeral. Ellen tells Michael she is absolutely convinced this attack was purposeful and targeted, and the shark is targeting their family. It turns out Michael is a marine biologist, and she tells him she doesn't want him working anymore, he needs to change his job. Eventually, Michael and his family convince Ellen to come stay with them for a little bit because he works in the Bahamas. She agrees, and they're flown out to the Bahamas in this little chopper by this pilot Hoagie, who, yes, they got Michael Caine for this movie somehow. Of course, Hoagie and Ellen hit it off, and their romance develops throughout the movie. But Ellen is still absolutely convinced that the shark is stalking their family. And sure enough, we see this great white shark swim from Amity Island to the Bahamas and follow them. Michael is on the boat working with his friend Jake one day, and sure enough, they encounter the great white. Jake is in the submersible underwater and it leaves him alone, but then jumps on the boat where Michael is and tries to get him. Like, this thing literally has a bloodthirst for Brody blood. Eventually it swims away and Jake is super excited. He's like, we should start researching the shark. We don't get these in the Bahamas. Michael is reluctant, but eventually agrees and tells Jake, do not tell my mother about this. Ellen, meanwhile, is plagued by nightmares of the shark and seems to have like a psychic connection to it. Like, when the thing jumps on the boat and tries to get Michael, it's almost like she can feel something happening. But one day, Michael's team chums the water, which causes it to come, and Jake is able to attach a tracking device to it. And the next day, Michael goes down in a submersible, even though he knows that this thing is after him personally. And there is literally a shark chase scene between Michael and the shark. The shark chases him, he's able to hide in this sunken ship and escape. That same day, there's an event at the beach where Carla is unveiling this art project that she did, and Thea sees one of her friends going out on a banana boat with her mother. So Carla lets her go, and sure enough, the shark shows up and attacks the banana boat and eats the other little girl's mother. So they grab Thea, and Ellen is like, yup, suspicions confirmed, it's after my family, and she steals Michael's boat and sets out after this thing. So Michael comes home and hears what happened, and Thea is obviously in shock, and he decides to tell Carla that he knew about the shark. Which obviously she's fucking pissed, but then he realizes that his mother has gone after the thing. So he calls on Jake and Hoagie for help, and Hoagie flies them out and they look for the boat that Ellen's on. Eventually they find her, and Hoagie lands the plane on the water next to the boat, and Jake and Michael jump out and swim. But before Hoagie can get out, the shark attacks and sinks the chopper. We only mourn Hoagie for literally a minute because suddenly he pops up and he's like, I'm fine. So Michael and Jake come up with this idea to build this device that releases this electromagnetic impulse. Jake goes to the front with this device to try to get it into the shark. So he manages to get it into the shark's mouth, but then he falls in the shark's mouth himself and it drags him away. So Michael takes like the detonator or whatever you want to call it and starts pressing the button, which starts releasing these impulses in the shark's mouth. The shark does not like this at all. Every time he hits the button, it jumps out of the water in pain and growls. It's so ridiculous. As the shark gets nearer, Ellen has these flashbacks of her husband, of her sons. She rams a broken pole from the boat into the shark, which apparently hits the device just right because the thing explodes. The shark's exploded body sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and it's actually the same footage from the first Jaws when the shark explodes. Ellen, Hoagie, and Michael watch as this happens, and then Michael hears Jake calling for him. So it turns out he lived. Sometime later, Ellen says her goodbyes to the family, and Hoagie flies her back to Amity, and the movie ends. If you remember a different ending, it's because the revised ending is different than the original theatrical release. In the original, the shark is impaled and bleeds out, and Jake actually does die.